Imagine walking into a dealership and finding a car so cheap, you'd double-check the price tag just to make sure it isn't a prank. We're not talking about rusty used cars from the 90s. These are brand new, high-tech machines priced so low, they could send Toyota into panic mode overnight. Some of them look like luxury cars, others are futuristic EVs, and one of them, which I'll save for the end, might just be the biggest threat Toyota has ever faced. Buckle up, because these cars prove you don't need to break the bank to drive something amazing. If Toyota thought the Corolla was untouchable as the king of affordable cars, the BYD Dolphin just pulled up to say, "Move over." This compact hatchback from China is rewriting the rulebook on what budget really means. And no, it's not some bare-bones, no-frills ride. The Dolphin is stylish, fully electric, and packed with features you'd expect from cars that cost double. Here's where it gets jaw-dropping. The starting price is just 99,800 yuan, which is about 13,700 US dollars. Yep, you heard that right, brand new, under 14 grand. That's less than what many Americans spend on a used Corolla with 60,000 miles on it, and you're not just getting a bargain, you're getting performance. The Dolphin offers up to 520 kilometers of range. That's around 323 miles on a single charge. Toyota doesn't even have a pure EV in this price bracket, let alone one with that kind of range. Step inside and the surprises keep coming. You'll find a rotating touchscreen display. Yes, it literally turns. A roomy and futuristic cabin plus safety tech like lane assist and adaptive cruise control. Features Toyota usually makes you pay thousands more for. BYD, by the way, isn't a newcomer. They've been building batteries and EVs for years, and they're now one of the world's top EV makers. If the Dolphin landed in the US today, Toyota's entry-level lineup would be in serious trouble. Now let me tell you about the car that's quietly humiliating half the auto industry, the Dacia Sandero. If you've ever watched Top Gear, you probably remember how much they joked about this car. But here's the punchline. It's actually brilliant. This little hatchback is living proof that you don't need a second mortgage just to own something that starts every morning. On the outside, the Sandero doesn't scream luxury, but it's clean, sharp, and way more stylish than you'd expect from something that costs less than some used iPhones people are flexing on TikTok. The newer models even have LED daytime running lights, a confident grille, and enough presence that you wouldn't feel embarrassed pulling up to a date or a job interview. Inside, it's basic but clever. You get space for 5 adults, a decent trunk, and yes, air conditioning, because apparently that's a luxury feature at this price point. No, you won't find a Tesla-style touchscreen taking up half the dashboard, but you will find controls that are easy to use and materials that don't feel like they'll peel off after a summer in the sun. But here's where Toyota should start sweating. The base Dacia Sandero starts at just $12,000 in Europe. That's right, brand new, straight from the dealership with a warranty for the kind of money Toyota would only get you a 5-year-old Yaris with 80,000 miles on it. So while Toyota is busy charging premium prices for cars that aren't half as cheap, Dacia is basically selling freedom on wheels. And if something like the Sandero landed in America tomorrow, Toyota's accountants would be calling in sick. Here's the thing. Americans love SUVs. Toyota knows it, Honda knows it, everyone knows it. But imagine an SUV that looks modern, drives smooth, has all the gadgets people want, and costs less than the average used Corolla. That's the Changan CS 35 Plus. Visually, this SUV looks like it belongs in 2025, not stuck in 2012 like some budget cars. You've got a bold front grille, LED headlights, a sporty stance, and a design that wouldn't look out of place parked next to a RAV4 or even a Mazda CX-5. Except here's the kicker, it costs less than half of those. Inside, this thing punches way above its weight. A digital driver display, big infotainment screen, voice control, and even driver assist features like lane departure warning and adaptive cruise control, all standard in most trims. You'd expect to pay $30,000 plus for this kind of tech in a Toyota, but Changan is like, nah, we'll do it for a fraction. Under the hood, it runs a 1.6-liter engine or a turbocharged 1.4-liter option. Nothing insane, but perfect for city driving and long commutes. The focus here isn't speed, it's affordability with style and comfort. And now the number that's going to make Toyota nervous. The CS35 Plus starts at around $13,500 in markets like China and the Philippines. That's for a full-featured SUV with modern tech, while Toyota's cheapest SUVs in the US sit around $27,000 to $30,000. If something like the CS35 Plus hit American dealerships tomorrow, Toyota's RAV4 sales would feel it immediately. And you know what? Customers wouldn't even feel like they downgraded. Here's the thing about Toyota. They've built their empire on reliable, affordable cars. But the MG4 shows up and says, "Cool story. Now watch me do it cheaper, cleaner, and cooler." The MG4 is an all-electric hatchback that's been quietly stealing the spotlight in Europe. At first glance, it looks sharp. Sleek LED lighting, aggressive lines, and a stance that makes it look more premium than budget. Park it next to a Corolla hatchback, and honestly, most people are going to think the MG4 costs more, not less. Inside, it's even more of a surprise. You've got a minimalist cabin with a wide touchscreen, digital driver's display, tons of smart storage space, and all the modern features people expect: Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, lane assist, adaptive cruise, and even vehicle-to-load tech, meaning you can literally use your car to power your gadgets. That's something Toyota doesn't even bother to offer in its budget lineup. Now let's talk range, because this is where the MG4 gets scary for Toyota. Depending on the battery option, you're looking at around 218 to 323 miles on a single charge. That's Corolla money with Prius-crushing efficiency, except you're not paying extra for hybrid tech. You're getting a full EV straight out the gate. And here's the knockout punch. In markets like the UK and Europe, the MG4 starts at around $30,000, sometimes even less with incentives. That's dangerously close to the price of a gas-powered Toyota Corolla in the US and way below Toyota's only current EV, the BZ4X, which costs a painful $42,000 and doesn't even offer better range. So imagine this. Toyota tries to sell you a basic gas Corolla for $23,000, while MG hands you a stylish, tech-loaded long-range EV for about the same price. That's not just competition, that's a straight-up ambush. SUVs are Toyota's cash cow. The RAV4 is their global bestseller, and for good reason. It's dependable, practical, and beloved by families. But what happens if an SUV shows up offering the same space, same tech, and a fresher design for half the price? That's exactly what the Chery Tiggo 7 Pro does. Visually, this SUV punches way above its class. The bold grille, LED headlights, and clean body lines make it look premium, closer to a Lexus than a budget SUV. Step inside and it only gets better. A massive 10-inch touchscreen dominates the dash, paired with a fully digital driver's display. Throw in a panoramic sunroof, leatherette seats, and wireless charging, and suddenly you're asking yourself, wait, is this a budget SUV or a luxury crossover? Toyota usually makes you climb up trims and drop big cash to get features like that, but Chery includes them right out of the gate. Safety tech like lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, and adaptive cruise, standard. And it's not underpowered either. Under the hood, you'll find a 1.5-liter turbo engine with decent punch for city and highway driving. Now, the part that would make Toyota sweat, the price. The Chery Tiggo 7 Pro starts at around $15,000 to $17,000 in markets like Asia and South America. Compare that to the Toyota RAV4, which starts at nearly $30,000 in the US, and it's clear why this SUV could wipe the floor if it ever landed stateside. If Toyota's worried about EVs like BYD, imagine losing SUV buyers, their bread and butter, to a budget-friendly competitor like this. That's not just a problem, that's a crisis. If you've been around cars long enough, you know the Toyota Corolla has been the king of sedans for decades. It's affordable, reliable, and everywhere. But here's the twist. The Geely M Grand is basically a Corolla's worst nightmare, because it gives you everything people want in a sedan for thousands less. From the outside, the M Grand looks clean, modern, and professional. It's not trying too hard, but it definitely doesn't scream cheap. In fact, it looks more like a mini Camry than a budget beater. Step inside, and this is where most people would be shocked. It's genuinely nice. We're talking a full digital instrument cluster, a big infotainment screen, premium-looking finishes, and actual space in the back for adults. The days of cheap car equals bare bones are gone, and the M Grand proves it. Under the hood, you'll find a fuel-efficient 1.5-liter engine, which may not win drag races, but it nails what buyers actually want: reliability and low running costs. This is the kind of car that eats up miles without eating up your wallet. And here's the kicker: it offers a level of comfort and refinement that makes even the Corolla look outdated. Now, the number that matters: the Geely M Grand starts at just around $9,500 to $12,000, depending on the market. Think about that. For less than half the price of a new Corolla in the US, you could drive home in a modern tech-filled sedan that doesn't feel like a compromise. Toyota fans love the RAV4, but the Haval H6 is the kind of SUV that would make those same fans do a double take. Because here's the secret: it gives you everything the RAV4 does: space, comfort, tech, but drops the price tag so low it feels like highway robbery. On the outside, the H6 doesn't look like a budget SUV at all. It's bold, muscular, and premium-looking, with a big front grille and sharp LED lighting. Park it next to a Toyota Highlander or RAV4, and most people wouldn't know which one costs more. Spoiler, it's definitely not the Toyota. Inside, the H6 is stacked with tech: a massive 12-inch infotainment screen, full digital driver's display, voice recognition, wireless phone charging, panoramic sunroof. You name it, it's in here. And the seats? Comfortable, supportive, and even available with heating and ventilation. These are the little luxuries Toyota makes you pay extra for, but Haval just hands them to you like it's no big deal. Performance-wise, the H6 comes with a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine that has enough power for both city and highway driving. There's also a hybrid version which undercuts Toyota's hybrid SUVs by thousands of dollars. And speaking of undercutting, let's talk price. The Haval H6 starts at around $17,000 to $20,000 in markets like China, and even with taxes, it stays dramatically cheaper than a Toyota RAV4, which starts at almost $30,000 in the US. For buyers looking at midsize SUVs, that kind of gap is brutal for Toyota. Think about it. Would you pay nearly double for a Toyota badge when the H6 gives you the same features, sometimes more, for way less? Exactly. If this SUV ever landed in the States, Toyota's RAV4 wouldn't just lose ground, it might lose its crown.